Hi everyone, this is Tiffany with Raising House and Home, and today I'm going to show you how to make potatoes au gratin. Now I know that we're not able to go to the grocery store as often as we used to, so if you're used to the box version, I want to show you how easy, inexpensive, and how delicious homemade potatoes au gratin can be. So we've got the potatoes peeled and washed and ready to go. So now, let's see if I can get this better angle for you guys. We're gonna cut them up. My finger's right in your way, isn't it? We're gonna cut them up into thin slices, just like this. My knife's not that sharp. So we'll cut all of these up and then we'll get ready to layer them into the pan. So I finished chopping all of the potatoes, and now I have to make the cheese sauce to go on top. So we're going to head over to the stove and get started. So for the sauce, we are going to put it on medium heat, and we're going to have 3 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to put it in the pan, and we're going to let that melt, and then we'll put in 3 tablespoons of flour. So we're just going to let that melt for a little while. It's almost melted. All right, now we can add our 3 tablespoons of flour. Mix this up. This is just a white roux. It's the same type of sauce that you would make for like a cream soup, or that you would make for macaroni and cheese, like homemade mac and cheese. So we're just going to mix this all up. And it's going to look like really wet pie dough. And we want to let it sit and cook so that we'll get rid of that raw flour flavor. That's all you're doing with this, is just kind of cooking the flour. Let's see. It kind of looks like really wet pie crust. So we'll let that cook up, and then we're going to add our milk. That's about good. So now we're going to add But 1.5 cups is a half cup, so I'm going to have to add it 3 times. 2 and 3. I try not to use too many instruments or kitchen tools because it's just easier to clean up if you don't. So we're going to mix this up, and then once this gets all incorporated and thick, we will place our potatoes in the pan and pour that on top. And so I'm going to continue cooking this over about medium heat, and I will add salt and pepper to it. We go grab that, and here's some pepper and some salt. And you can add garlic powder if you want to. I'm actually going to add onion powder. So we're going to add a little bit of onion powder. This is totally to taste, so you could put a couple teaspoons or just a few shakes and it would be fine. Alright, so that's going to cook down, and we're going to go set up our potatoes. Okay, so I had about half a block left of cheese that I wanted to use up, and you know, normally I would have used a whole block for this recipe, but we are in the pandemic, so we're just trying to conserve a little bit more, and I did put a little bit of milk, a little bit extra milk than I normally do, so the sauce will still be cheesy and creamy, using less of the actual cheese. So I'm gonna slice this up into little slices, and you could shred it if you wanted to, but I find this works just as good. So I'm gonna slice this all up, and then we will start layering the potatoes. The sauce is getting nice and thick, and I decided to bring out my whisk to really get in there, and you can see my little tripod foot there. You see how creamy and nice it is with the whisk. That's nice and thick, and I might actually put a little bit more milk in there because it's thickening up so nice. And I know, of course, if you guys are trying to conserve your milk, you can put water in there. Or even some dry milk with water. So I just put in about a quarter of a cup of milk. That is ready. So we're going to turn this off and go layer the potatoes. So here you can see that I chopped up all the cheese, and you can see how it kind of crumbled a little bit because it's a drier cheese. It's an extra sharp cheese. It's cheddar. So you didn't have to waste time using the grater. So this was great. Just cut it with a paring knife or like a steak knife, and you're good to go. I've started layering the first layer of the potatoes. So there's only going to be 2 layers. So you're going to do one layer here, and then we are going to put some cheese on there. And we're just going to kind of layer that in. So we're going to do half of this cheese in the middle, and it will all melt down together like that. Okay, so now we're gonna get the sauce. All right, so this is hard to do with one hand, but I have the sauce, so we're just gonna start pouring half of it into the middle, and we're gonna save the other half for the top. So what I'm gonna do is grab my spatula with only one hand. Maybe I can start using my feet. All right, so we're gonna mix that around, and it doesn't look very pretty right now, but I promise it will be good. So there's that, and then I'm gonna do the other layer on top, and more cheese and more sauce. So I got the top layer of cheese and the cream sauce. Now if you want it a little bit more like wet, not so thick, you can use water, you can use chicken broth, you can use more milk if you need to. I'm going to use a little bit more milk, but You definitely can use any of those things. It would give it more flavor if you use chicken broth. Okay, so this needs to be covered when it's cooking. I'm just using an old cookie sheet to cover it instead of wasting aluminum foil, because this you can reuse over and over again. It's very old and I don't use it very often, so I use it as a cover. And so we'll put that in the oven, and it cooks for about an hour at 375. Alright guys, this is the finished product of Au Gratin Potatoes. Homemade, you don't need them from a box. And you could have made them a little browner than I have. I was just in a hurry to feed everybody, but you can take the pan cover off and let them brown for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. And then I also cut up some of the green onions that I had growing in a little cup of water. I cut them up just to add some color and flavor. And you can do that too. You can add sour cream, whatever you have, even a little bit of salsa if you wanted to. So there you guys have it, some Au Gratin potatoes. Thank you very much for watching. Please click subscribe down below. And you can also click on the notification bell if you want to get notified when I put up some more videos. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.